Well, hello everybody, Tobin here, and we'll be continuing with Trick or Treat. Where last we left off, we were about to find out, what the history of the town was. Alright, let's go! The town of Abingdon, Oxford Country, 1994. I came to this town with only 4,000 inhabitants to support them in an investigation. Truth is that never in my life have I ever seen something this strange. I wouldn't say your typical detective-ish nonsense that I've seen thousands of strange things in my life. I've seen many crimes, yes. Yet some difficulty to solve. But all of them were human. Even if you don't know how they managed to perpetrate the crime, you know that they are people like anyone else. In this case, I didn't think I'm able to say the same thing. The truth is that I can't understand what happened. I was called for the disappearance of a man named Matthew Graham, 23 years. Single. The last time he was seen, he was returning home from a Halloween party. He had drank alcohol, but was still sober, or at least that's what the witness said. Anyway, this is not something which can be explained with a simple drunkenness. He apparently got lost on the way home and decided to enter the forest called Oakwood. It had rained yesterday, so the ground was wet and muddy. We could easily find his traces which were leading us deep inside the forest. Apparently he walked for 3 hours before stopping. I say stopping, but the truth is we don't know what happened to him. The truck suddenly ended up being cleaned in the forest, and that's all. There was no evidence of a struggle. There was no other trace or pieces of clothing on the ground. There was no blood, no more footprints, or anything else. The depths of his last foot grips and positioning were indeed that he was still walking. At no point he stood still. It was as if he had evaporized in the air with all his clothes in the middle of his walk. Obviously I can't believe in such a thing, but I can't give another explanation. The only thing I remember is that near the footprints I sensed a faint smell of rot. However, there was no animal corpse nearby. It is ridiculous to me to think that he suddenly started to decay and become the earth. In the end, the case was closed in just 3 days. With no evidence of any kind, we couldn't say anything but decided to escape from the village. However, the officials there was no more I could do. I couldn't sleep in peace. Thinking what could have happened to him took away my sleep. In my mind, I thought all sorts of theories. Like maybe everything was planned, developed by Matthew. But in the end, they all seemed impossible. I decided to investigate more on the issue. I searched the town for similar stories, and in surprise I found 4 more. All young men. The story was always the same. They walked into the forest alone, disappearing without a trace. Even more curious is that all of them disappeared on the same date, October 31st. But there's more. A detail that completely eliminates the possibility that there is a killer or kidnapper behind this. That is, the separations of years. Roger Bacon disappeared in 1924. Michael Smith disappeared in 1861. Jason Black disappeared in 1813. And worst of all, Aldous Taylor disappeared in 1707. It simply couldn't be possible. Because she let me dig deeper. I thought that my answer could be held in the past of the forest. It was when I discovered that it seemed to be simple and boring forest actually had a great story. Before it was called Oakwood Forest or Oaks Forest, the place was called Whitewood? Okay. The word yacht was hugely similar to the witch with witch. Okay. Taking into account that it was an old name and language changed over years, the implication is that the Forest of Witches. Apparently more than 400 years ago, the people of the village believed witches lived in the forest. Unfortunately, most of all the information is already lost. There were stories told in voice, with a poorly written record. I just know that with the change of religion to Christian, people stopped seeing the witches with good eyes and began to hunt them. Apparently the last one before her death cast a curse on the forest, which even today should continue to exist. Anyway, obviously I cannot accept something like that as the answer. In the end, I have no other choice but to accept that each one of them escaped from the village, using the legend of the forest to make it look like something supernatural. Ooh. Interesting story. I didn't know that such a story was hiding in the town. I said honestly surprised. Even if it's a lie, it managed to hold my interest. Wait, there's more. There's something more. Oh my gosh, I can't remember what voice I gave him. Alfred said at the same time he scrolled to the comments. We read what is written there. A couple of comments caught our attention, both of them talking to the same creature. At the time they felt a horrible fear that what could happen to them. Well, the two comments share great similarities, but couldn't have been written by the same person. There are many others that deny it. Looked like many people went to the forest because of the legend and couldn't find anything. More dots? I thought you only read things to look more cool before the girls. I replied Stephen as a joke. Alfred giggled with a little shame. Party? Yes. He admitted it. It was a secret everybody certainly knew. Wow, now we have an activity for tonight, Stephen said at the same time he made a face overflowing with it. What? I asked, completely lost. I thought we were just killing time. Simple! Let's go to that forest! Oh, here comes that voice again. Hopefully I remember to give him that. Stephen replied without hesitation. He seemed rather fascinated by the story. Are you sane? Said Alfred, unable to believe what he had heard. You only need to look at his face to know he did not like the idea. Despite everything you heard, you want to go? In the comments, if you heard a story like this, please write down if you would go. Of course! It would be a test of courage among us three, replied Stephen, full of confidence. Perhaps too much. He should relax a bit. Don't tell me you're afraid. No. Why should I be afraid? Answered Alfred at the same time. He folded his arms, making a false gesture of security. It's more than obvious you are afraid, Alfred. Almost as much as when you had to talk with a girl. Oh my gosh. And what about you, Alex? Alex? Oh well, I'll just go with Alex. Don't tell me you won't come. Suddenly Stephen asked me, at the same time looking at me mockingly. Don't tell me you want to be the chicken of the group. I hate that tone of voice You use it. Yeah, I think most of us do. I will never give you that, I said without thinking, showing my confident smile and look. Well, let's not say any more. Take your coats, backpacks, flashlights, and some food. We're going to the forest, Stephen said, full of energy. Yeah! We three said in unison, as if we were going to have some kind of private party, not knowing what we were really doing or what we were going to find. 2:13 a.m. I wake completely confused, not knowing how much time had passed. My head hurts like hell, but I can't blame it. Fortunately, the pain goes away quickly as my confusion. Soon I came back to my senses. A flashlight was lying on the ground, shining towards the empty air. I immediately picked it up. It was my only protection against the darkness that surrounds me. Then I remembered that Stephen and Alfred were with me. Stephen! Alfred! Can you hear me? Without thinking, I screamed their names in the dark while trying to find them with my flashlight, but there is no trace of them. They're gone. What the hell are they? Where in the hell are they? And what the heck just happened? I really don't understand anything. Yes, I'm not gonna say that. We should have stayed at home. This is not a proof of courage. We could be in danger. I have to find them. 2:19 a.m. Little time has passed since I started to look for my friends. I really can't stand this place. I'm going crazy in this forest. The darkness that covers it is unnatural. It is a darkness that steals your insanity, replacing it with anxiety. To make it worse, the air is damp, cold as in winter, carrying a strong rot smell. As if there were corpses of animals hidden throughout the forest. The atmosphere in this place was oppressive, and every step you take makes you more uncomfortable. Since I started to look for my friends, I felt that something is watching me, but there's nothing. I sighed with my voice full of frustration. I just wanted to get out of here. I continued to walk, devoid of any hope. No matter where I look or how much I walk, I find nothing. I cannot even hear the sounds of animals. Rather, it seems that they are already dead and rotting. No, I have to calm myself, I said to myself. I stopped for a moment to rest. I breathed deeply, but the rotten air of this place does me no good. I merely started to cough as if I had something stuck in my throat. It. I'm not saying that. What am I going to do? This cursed forest seems endless. Even if by mere miracle I could escape, I cannot abandon Stephen and Alfred. I really screwed up. Again I sighed, feeling on the verge of tears. My frustration is building, but I have to do my best to keep calm. If I fall into despair, then there's no doubt I'll be joining the list of missing persons. In the end, I decided to keep walking. Step by step, I should get somewhere. At least I was convinced that staying in the same place would not do me any good, even if it was only to deceive myself, feeling that I am doing something. I wanted to continue walking. Time passed without any changes. Only the sound of my footsteps can be heard. Knowing that as soon as you stop you will be surrounded by dead silence is a good indication to keep walking. But My legs were already hurting. Suddenly, I hear a crack at my feet. Instantly, I take a step back to look below me to see what made the sound. What is this? I whispered to myself, surprised, discovered that I had stepped on an animal bone. I believe it's from an animal, though I do not know the rule out of possibility of it belonging to a person. But for my own good, I prefer not to think about that. As expression of anguish is drawn on my face, it is best to ignore it. I have to keep walking. Suddenly my flashlight reveals something. Without hesitation, I point it towards there again. More dots? Oh, I only realized with a surprise that it's a white cat. The one from before which had made the awful meow, but this time I find it lying on the ground. It appears to be fainted and wounded. What should I do? What? Oh, shoot. Alright, let's pick. It's best to continue without waking her. Cat is dangerous. It's my fault that I ended up here. This place and my friends are missing. But even knowing that, for some strange reason, I can't help but feel sorry for her. Even if it's unnatural, it is still an animal. I then bow down to see her close. She's unconscious and there's a thin line of blood coming from her mouth. I'm a real idiot, I said to myself at the same time. I cleaned the blood from her mouth with a handkerchief that I had with me. Fortunately, she doesn't wake up. Then I closed her mouth, making her appearance a little better. Now she seems to be peacefully sleeping. ... After a long sigh, I decided to pick her up carefully. I don't know what the power of the strange cat are, but if she brought me here, maybe she can return me to my world. Clearly, that's why I chose that. I didn't want to pick her up because, well, she's a nice, cute cat. Hopefully that wasn't Garfield. With her in my arms, I decided the best thing I can do is continue walking. 2:31 a.m. Again, I find myself in the dark forest, walking aimlessly, only moving forward, but I didn't seem I was getting somewhere. In my arms I carry the cat which sleeps soundly. Novus, come here. You'll be safe. I suddenly stopped. It was possibly easy to see the disbelief on my face at that moment. It's that voice again, I whispered to myself with no one to listen to me. Shortly after I found the cat, a mysterious voice appeared in my mind. It's a feminine voice, soft and gentle, as if it belonged to a princess of a fairy tale. But I can't trust it. Oh, if it's a fairy, I'd clearly trust my bank details to it. Oh boy. Am I really going crazy? Was it this forest? That doesn't make any sense. I don't know, but I don't like any of the two options. And I can feel the cat move in my arms. I look down at the cat, confused to see how she opens her red eyes suddenly. Uh-oh. ... You know, let's call it there. Time for a nice good cliffhanger. If you enjoyed, please leave a like. If you want to see more, please subscribe. Thank you for watching.